Hey guys, before we hop into your video, I wanted to tell you guys about my new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of it, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a licensed therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat, and you also have the opportunity to text them in between sessions. As most of you guys know, I am also a licensed professional as well as a mental health advocate, and sometimes in these readings, very in depth topics come up that are very intricately related to mental health, and it's for that reason that I offer this resource to you guys. And if you know anyone that can benefit from them, or if you yourself can benefit from them, I suggest you take advantage of them. The information to sign up will be in the description box below, but let's go ahead and get into your reading.
Your February as above reading. I'm Princess India if you are new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friends. So here's the deal, fire signs. So I was attempting to mentally prepare myself before I did your reading because every time, well, I'm not going to say every time, it was literally like 2 times. When I went into earth and I went into air, I was not prepared. But for you, I've mentally prepared myself. So I think I'm ready. I think I'm grounded enough. But the first thing that hit me when I tuned into you guys' energy in BTW, I'm pulling your first card from the Work Your Light Oracle. And the intention is to pull light from your past experiences and lessons to shine this light onto your present experience as well as your future experiences. But the word I had for Aquarius when I did the reading was stir crazy, but yours doesn't necessarily feel stir crazy. Um, it's like an upward motion, but it's more of an unction is what I would call it. So I would say that if you guys are feeling a sense of like unease or just feeling like you need to move around, I feel that's more or less energy that's attempting to push you to take a chance on something. So I just want to say, and I don't know if this is going to come out in the message or not, but I just feel the need to say that if any of you are considering a particular type of business or a book, an idea, a channel, a podcast, it doesn't matter what it is. If there's any idea or anything that you guys feel led to act on, I would most certainly say act on it, not so much physically. I mean, unless it's already something that was in the works and you're like doubting yourself or something. But I say that because the retrograde's coming up. You don't want to launch anything during during a retrograde. But I would say this is a great time to kind of do your research and get things in order to act on said thing. But take a chance on yourself and take a chance on your idea, whichever one that falls into, because this could literally be personal work, but trust in yourself, trust in the idea or the inspiration that you've gotten, and take a chance on it. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get your card for your past influence. I like that felt tame. All right, one card. Whoa, or not. More than one card. That's cool too. Or 3. Once, twice, 3 times, lady. I have no idea where that came from. Whew, 3 cards, 3 signs. Oh, maybe some of you it's literally physically moving. Yeah, okay. So if any of you guys, we have dance, do something to shift your vibration. If you guys do inadvertently feel stir crazy or you feel like you need to move, literally move, I always like when this card comes out because in so many words, whenever you have like, low vibe energies that kind of attack you happens all the time. If you feel kind of bogged down or you start feeling kind of like sad or what have you, just out of nowhere, dance, even if you don't know how to dance, is always a great energy shifter, right? Because it's changing frequencies up. So I think that's a good little tool for you guys to take, especially into this Leo full moon. tomorrow, by the way, you know what I'm saying? So if you find yourself feeling some type of way that isn't in alignment with like your highest thought about a thing, like meaning joy or something that makes you feel excited or empowered about yourself or your life, anytime you're in emotions or energies such as that, dance is a great method, or even yoga, you know, or ringing a bell or clapping your hands or what have you, just turning on music, whatever the case may be. But I really feel this in a sense of physical movement, because I didn't want to use the word stir crazy like I felt it for Aquarius, because it felt more thought based, like almost like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say obsessive thoughts, but just like rehearsing thoughts. I don't necessarily feel it that way for you guys. For some reason, it feels more, is the word kinesthetic? I think that's the word. I don't know, but it feels more body for you guys. So it's kind of like, you know, when you build up too much energy, it just feels that you guys need a channel for that energy. But I think that's more typical for a fire sign, right? I mean, I have an Aries kid. He's always bouncing off the walls and stuff. Anywho, welcome to my life. So we have boundaries as the next card. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Ooh, this is a nice shift. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. How I'm seeing this, my cards, when I use these, I'm trying to shine light this way. Spirit is shining light this way. So let's follow it. Where do you need to establish better boundaries, right? Typically, you would think, all right, if I'm looking today, where do I need to establish better boundaries? And it's kind of like, you know what? Right now, I'm kind of good, right? My energy is being oriented to the past. So this becomes a reflection exercise, perfect for either full moon reflection, or we could use this just straight for the month of February for the retrograde for all signs, right? Not all signs. I mean, like all of your signs, all fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. You know what I'm saying? Okay, anyway. But what I feel this is saying for you guys, look back as far back as you want. If you're doing the woke book, you can look back literally. And I think those are some of the questions for some of the years is you could look over the last 10 years, the last month, the last year, whatever is more in alignment with you. But and those of you who have the book, Learning to Say No, that's a book I always recommend about learning how to establish healthy boundaries. But this is a good exercise to do to kind of reflect on friendships and relationships, or even relationships with your siblings, family members, parents, what have you, and just kind of digging a little deeper to see where you need to establish better boundaries. For those of you who are in any form of partnership, whether, you know, that's work, whatever, because I mean, it could be that your boss calls you too much. You know what I'm saying? Or you have clients that call too much or something. That's me having flashbacks to when I used to work in PR. But whatever the case may be, it's just kind of looking at where you're allowing people to overstep your boundaries, and not necessarily having to be in a sense of very deeply personal, but meaning in a sense of, you know, people respecting your time. It could be something as simple as that. But I really feel this because I saw my little signal that was like, So I feel that it'll be more beneficial for you guys to answer this question in a sense of reflecting this way, as opposed to just looking in the present, but not to say that you shouldn't look into the present. Next card is Soul Family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you got your woke fam. Dag-nabbit son of a gun. I feel that's of utmost importance, guys. This is something that I stress a lot from my own journey. I look at how helpful a soul family could have been, you know, to be able to have people to bounce ideas off of and stuff. And it's like, I had this crazy dream, and somebody who understands the crazy dream that you have, you know? So I feel for some of you, this is simply suggesting, if you've ever questioned it, that people that you've encountered in your, I wouldn't necessarily say distant, this feels more recent, probably recent would be like 2019. But I feel that a great deal of you have come in contact with people that you would consider to be in your soul family. And if you have not, this would simply be saying that you're on the right path that's going to lead you to these people, because I feel that this is an integral part of our process. And speaking of which, my homegirl, she just put up a channeled message, and she was speaking about this in her channeled message. It's from yesterday. I have it posted on the community tab, and she was talking about how spirit is pretty much getting everyone into position right now. So a lot of people are finding their tribes, and I can't stress more how important that is. It is so very important because, and I mean, I think all of my my patrons can vouch for that. Everyone in my twin flame group on Facebook can vouch for that. People in the Dream Collective can vouch for that, because it's just, I don't know, man. It's just something about community and knowing that you're not alone in your quest. And I mean, especially with the type of stuff that we're into, a lot of us, and I find that from conversations I have with a lot of you guys, there's a great deal of us that don't know people in our cities or in our towns or even in our families that are into the things that we're into, or not necessarily on the path that we're on. So even if it's a digital family, I really believe that that's of utmost importance. And knowing that you have the ability to manifest things into your life, if you feel that that's a need for you at present, I would suggest that with this full moon, you know, and I mean, even without the full moon, this be something that you set an intention to call into your life. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get into these cards. I could tell I'm gonna get a download soon, because this is conversation where I get to get this out of my body as I'm shuffling these cards, because I like when cards will pop out. So we're not just sitting here in silence. But I get like this really weird haze thing that happens to me. Like when I'm about to get a download, it feels almost like I guess the best way I could describe it, it's like a veil, but to say it in a more regular way, it's like if you wear contacts, imagine like if your contacts were dirty, right? That's what it's like when I'm about to get a download. And before, since I got back from the funeral, because I was apologizing to you guys in the community tab too, fire signs. But my father-in-law's funeral was today, and it's almost like as soon as I got home, it's like I get that little vision thing, and I was like, oh man. So I was like, let me do fire signs before spirit takes me. All right, spirit, let me get these cards, because fire signs like their messages. You know what I'm saying? I try not to be too wordy with you guys, as if I could help it. It's really awkward for me. So how's your mom and them? Everybody good? You know what I'm saying? Ah, there we are. What is it with you guys in threes? Fours, never mind. Oh, because I used 4 cards. Okay, thank you, Spirit. That I just, it was a long shuffle, and then you just gave me the 4 cards. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put them in order of how they fell out. See, this is why you don't be complaining, y'all, because, I'm just going to be quiet and just go ahead. All right, so theme for the month, we have the 5 of Pentacles. Whew. So this, ooh. Okay. Fire signs, let me tell you something. I could do this reading buku quick, because this is very clear what's going on here. Whew. All right. You are in alignment with what I've seen for every other sign prior to you guys with this 5 of Pentacles. And what we're doing, I don't want to necessarily say it in a sense of a shift in consciousness, to say that this is just like simply an energetic upgrade and there's not any work that needs to be done. There is work that needs to be done. And the work that needs to be done is shifting your focus. Now, when it comes to the 5 of Pentacles, this is manifesting to me like a lack mentality. When we talk about a lack mentality, we're talking about perspective, right? So perfect example would be, the old saying that's, is the glass half empty or is it half full, right? A lack mentality sees a glass with water in it and would say, oh, that's half empty, right? That's the first inclination. So it's a tendency to see, and I say negative, but I don't necessarily mean negative like bad. I mean negative meaning like less, as opposed to seeing it from more of like a optimistic perspective of an abundance mentality, in a sense of seeing things in a growth process as opposed to a like a degrading or dying process, so to speak, right? So the thing that's important to note here, and I've stressed this for everyone up to this point because this has come up in just about everybody's reading, but it's making an intentional effort to train yourself to start focusing on the lighter side, right? Because when we talk about us having creation power, like I talked about, you guys setting intentions to draw in a soul family, right? Or people who are more in alignment with you. Whatever we focus our attention on, it grows, right? And that's why you pay attention, right? Because your energy, your attention, that is a form of energetic currency, right? So, and even if you look at it like with advertisement on YouTube, it's paying for your attention. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole thing is here, this is a very cerebral process in the sense that it's intentionally electing to refocus your thoughts. So whenever you find yourself in a situation or a circumstance throughout the month of February, or you're doing your self-reflection work, or you're working through the woke book, or you're looking at the past couple of months, your last relationships, the last year, last 10 years, what have you, right? When you look at what it is that triggered you or is triggering you at present, what it is that led you to get into like a low vibe mood, the thoughts you were having, it's being present in the moment, pumping your brakes and thinking about what you're thinking about, right? When we look at what it is that's wrong, and this is something I feel bad saying it to you guys all over again because I've said this buku times, but it's like what we focus on, we give life to. And when we focus on death, proverbially speaking, meaning like lack, death can only beget more death, right? So humor yourself, right? To focus on life or the lighter side of your current situation. So if we put this in a very specific sense, it's like you look at your bank account and you look at how much money is in there, right? You look at what your bills are and it's like, oh, it's not enough. That is a true reality. Disclaimer, I am not telling you to look at your bank account, look at your bills and be like, oh, everything is, life is grand. I don't have the money, but I do. I do have money. I am abundant. Not saying that at all. It's more or less being more solution oriented than problem focused, right? So I feel that the root of a great deal of what you guys are dealing with is in the fact that you don't have anything else that's coming in to, wow, okay, this is interesting. Okay. You don't have anything else coming in to shift your vibration. Part of the reason why I feel that is there's a lack thereof of people contact, right? In the past, fire signs, there's probably been, disappointments or people who hurt your feelings or whatever the case may be, people who violated your boundaries. And I feel, and I talked about this in a woke book too, can't remember what year it is right now, but I always tell this story about boundaries with my clients. And this is going to make sense of what it is I'm seeing for you guys. There's 3 different houses of boundaries. The first house has no fence, no windows, no doors, right? The second house has a 10-foot fence that's an electric fence. It has windows and doors, and it has bars on the windows and doors, right? Those are 2 examples of boundaries, right? The first house has no boundaries whatsoever. So that means that people can come in and out of your house when they feel like they want to come in and out your house, right? So there's nothing that's stopping people from coming in. The other house is another form of boundaries, and they're both unhealthy. And this one is so protected that nobody can get in, right? And then our third option is a house that has a fence, right? But it's like a regular little picket fence, and it has a lock on it, so you can lock it and unlock it. It has windows and doors, and they can be locked and unlocked. So it's more of a fluidity, right? So if the person who lives in that house elects to lock all the windows and doors and not let anyone in for whatever reason, right? They can. If they decide to allow people in, they can unlock the doors. Probably not the windows. Kind of creepy if someone's coming in your windows. You know what I'm saying? But anyway. But you can allow people in. So it's making a choice of staying in a state of equilibrium because there's shifting that's going on, right? With all of the energy I'm seeing with you guys, devoid of your possibilities card, all of these cards speak to stagnation. It's speaking of a stagnant energy. So it's a energy that's a lack thereof of movement. When we look at the Hermit reverse being in you guys roadblock, we look at the Eight of Swords being in you guys past influence. So all of these cards that we talked about at first from the Work Your Light Oracle, these are all of the things that are shining light on this Eight of Swords energy. With Eight of Swords, of course, we're talking about a mental prison, analysis, paralysis, right? So how I said, like, with that energy that was similar to Aquarius, where it was kind of like that stir crazy, but it felt more in the physical body. I feel that's more or less because of the issues and problems that you guys are facing in the month of February. They're very much related to 3D problems. So it's like everyday life stuff, not enough money, not really caring from a job, you know what I mean? Or simply with the Hermit reverse, feeling alone, right? It's feeling on the outside, whether that's because you just feel like an outsider, or you feel shunned, or if you're desiring a relationship, whatever the case may be, it's still falling into this realm of stagnation and lack. I feel a great deal of this, which I feel is very unique for you all, because I don't believe that this has ever come up like this that I can recall. If I were to relate you guys back to the house and why I was saying the stuff about being disappointed in your past, it's like you guys would be like house number two, at least the people who would resonate with this reading. It feels like house number two, to where a person has been disappointed, past tense, and there was difficulty in qualifying people, because it's like, you know, every time I think something's a really great idea, I end up going with it. I end up taking that chance on it. Wow, that's the reason why that whole message of you guys taking a chance on yourself came up. This is making sense. That is totally making sense. What I said to you guys before I pulled cards, when I was talking about if you're thinking about something and you're feeling kind of like, you know, like you need to move or whatever, and it's like, take a chance on something, take a chance on yourself, take a chance on that idea. The purpose of that is the spirit is trying to get you guys to do exactly what this dance card is suggesting, which is shifting your vibration. Because the vibration that you're in now, all of this energy is recycling itself, right? So looking at lack in my life, right, is bringing me to the lack in myself, right? How I'm feeling, how I'm thinking, right? Then this is making me look at in my external world, right? The things that are going awry with people outside of myself, right? Which brings me back to my life and the fact that things aren't working out in my life. There's lack here, which brings me back inside of myself, and there being a sense of lack emotionally and mentally. And then the whole process goes on again, if that's making sense, right? So the whole key is spirit is more or less leading you guys to do something differently. Now, this is where our Chariot card comes in, right? Positive movement forward. It's a foretelling of victory and success moving forward. But the whole key is there's a need to change your vibration. And I've said this with a couple of other signs as well. It's like, why not take a chance on that? Because focusing on what's wrong or what's negative or what's not working in our life, that is something that we have literally mastered up to this point. You know what I mean? This is something where we know how this is going to pan out. It's like we feel bad about ourselves, that whole process starts, so on and so forth, and it's not really getting us anywhere. So the whole thing is the spirit is more or less coaching you guys to do something to literally shift your vibration. But like I was saying, I feel that this is very 3D energy, because although we're talking about focusing on your thought space and being conscious of this, I feel spirit is asking you guys to do something very physical in order to shift this energy. And I don't know why that's being stressed with you guys, but it's something very tangible. So I mean, even if you guys are people who you know, like say like with the full moon being tomorrow, and say you're not a person who typically does like a physical full moon ritual type of deal, like you don't go stand under the moon with crystals or whatever, it may not be a bad thing to try that. It may not be a bad thing to do a spiritual bath, you know what I mean? Or a yoga class, or a full moon, you know, meditation circle or something of the sort, which I feel really wouldn't be a bad idea. They have this app called Meetup, and, you know, they have like different little things in each city. I don't know about other countries. I know in America they have that, but that wouldn't be a bad idea, because I really feel you guys need to get out of the house and start interacting with people. And that's what's bringing me back to this whole house situation, because I feel that you guys being disappointed in the past by people has you in a very defensive, self-protective state, because it's almost analysis paralysis in the sense of decisions and people. Because I feel the way that you guys, like I said, attempted to move forward before, it's caused so much disappointment that it's inadvertently led you to kind of like shutting down. You know what I mean? So it's like your boundaries are all the way up, right? But the whole key is getting to a state of balance. Because I always say any form of extremism, whether it's the person that has no boundaries at all, or it's a person that has too many boundaries, going back to that Likert scale, these are two sides of the same coin. It's the same energy, right? It's just manifesting in two different ways. And a person having having no boundaries at all is fear-based, just like having way too many boundaries is fear-based. But at the root, it's fear-based, right? Because one person is a people pleaser. They're afraid of hurting people. They're afraid of disappointing people. So they just let people walk all over them. The other person is afraid of people taking advantage of them, people bullshitting them, you know what I'm saying? Or people hurting them. So they have way too many. But the key is self-trust, right? Knowing what your limits are and allowing people to come only so far, kind of like how the Queen of Swords is. You know, she got a little sword and it's like, you come talk your stuff. I'ma listen. But if you mess up, just know I got the sword right here. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of energy. But all in all, I feel that for you guys, really, I feel that it's a sense of self-isolation. And that's good to an extent, especially if you guys have been on a spiritual journey up to this point. And it starts that way. But I feel like now it's time for you guys to come back out into the world, you know, because other people are a huge part of your process. And we can't test the information that we know or that we've acquired without engaging with other people, right? But all in all, I'm really not concerned, because one, we have two major arcanas that are here, right? Even though the Hermit is in the reverse, and y'all could be dealing with Virgo or Cancer, BTW. But with there being two major arcanas here, I'm really not concerned, because I feel you guys are going to move forward in a positive direction. However, still taking into account that on the 13th, Mercury goes into retrograde, and the fact that energetically, which are all things to talk about in the workbook, the fact that energetically, I feel that literally in spring, all of us are springing forward. So now is a time for us to really do that final kind of pre-spring cleaning, so to speak, and getting things in order, whether that's with self or, you know, with things that you guys want to act on, so you can take action on it going forward. And with the Chariot card, Spirit is most certainly in support of that. So you guys are good. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and throw the dice of resonance. Whew, I feel good. Dude, yeah, I mean, this is very straight to the point for me. I don't even know how long it's been, fire signs, because I'm trying a new system to record, and it doesn't show me the time, which is really not a good idea for Princess. Really not a good idea. Time keeps me accountable. You can go ahead and ask a yes or no question. We have Taurus, we have the X, we have Libra, we have no. And question mark, which means it could be sun, moon, rising, or Venus. So, wow. Something about Venus there. And I don't usually interpret those, but Libra and Taurus, you know what I'm saying? We're both children of Venus. It's something with that. I don't know if they got something going on in the sky with Venus right now. But moving right along, no, the X, Venus in the X, and it's February. I don't know. I don't interpret those. I shouldn't be, at least. And it could be sun, moon, rising, or Venus. And we're going to go ahead and throw the dice that have no name. And then I'm going to pull you guys cards for the extended. And for those of you who don't know, this is a fire sign reading for all three of you guys, but on Vimeo, it's individual signs. So Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo are going to have their own good old reading. You know what I'm saying? We have North Node. Fascinating. We have Moon. And the number 2. Oh, all right. Almost had an avalanche. All right, let's see. So, all right. For North Node, it says, you're now learning something new about your destiny, where you're going, hashtag chariot, what you're developing that you will carry forward, your legacy. So in one sense or another, this is still a form of transformation. I just feel that you guys are being led to focus it from a very practical perspective or approach, so to speak. But I mean, it's really clear, man. It's really looking to me of body movement type of stuff, sound frequency type of stuff, establishing healthy boundaries, and starting to cultivate healthier friendships that are more in alignment with you, you know, and being conscious, because just kind of looking at this 8 of Swords across from the chariot here and thinking about the mastermind, mastering your mind, that says a great deal to me. That, and that's something the whole collective has received messages on, is, you know, everybody's mind is kind of running amok, and it's a stress to get dominion over your mind, because you're intended, you're intended to have dominion over your mind. Your mind is a tool that should be in service to you, not you being in service to it. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, with the number 2, your major arcana to meditate on this month is the High Priestess, and it says diversity, bloom, fertility, self-reflection. What are you manifesting? What are you manifesting, fire signs? What are you manifesting? I'm just saying. But the whole thing is, dude, the fact they got fertility up in this piece, and I was just talking about spring, I feel that's of utmost importance. That's extremely imperative, my friend. So let's go ahead and pull. Uh-oh, what did I do? What did I do? Did I do something? Okay, I almost did. All right. Not mess up stuff. Let's pull your cards for the extended. For Leo, I guess we're going with Leo first. Okay. First card out is the 3 of Cups. Then we have the 10 of Cups. This is getting interesting. Then we have the 3 of Pentacles. Okay, Leo. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles in the reverse. Let me find out. All right. Then Leo, Sagittarius. First card for Sagittarius is the 2 of Wands. Then we have the 2 of Swords. We have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. And then we have the 10 of Swords. And did I pull that? I'm just gonna go with it. Wait, Aries. Okay. I'm so sorry, y'all. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the King of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant. And then we have the 4 of Swords in the reverse. Interesting. And then I'm going to pull you guys hidden enemies and aspects and a black mirror card for each of you. It's interesting. Leo. Whoa. Okay. Leo, you have quarter life crisis. Interesting. Sagittarius. You got to be kidding me. Sagittarius, the yoga instructor. Okay. Aries. I don't think these cards have ever come out for anyone. Aries. It's definitely this one. Off the grid. That's eerily relevant. And let's get your Black Mirror oracles. Leo. Leo. Okay. Atonement. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Jesus. I was trying to keep them from falling. Then my hair got caught. And then all three came out. So, hey, Sagittarius. Is it me? Fragmentation. And today for tomorrow. Okie dokie. And Aries. That was fascinating. What is happening in America? Aries, Aries. Aries got two. Wow. Perchance to dream. And peaceful among thorns. Fascinating. All right. Well, fire signs. This was tame. I'm a little concerned right now. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, this was breezy. Looking at y'all extended, you know, I mean, it's not like I see anything bad, but it's like, I'm like, yeah, this is about to get real. Fascinating. But anywho, I love your freaking face. If you want to follow me over to Vimeo, the link is below. If not, it's totally cool. I still love you. And I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces.